guess it's already recording. Didn't tell me. What I want to do here is do a couple of things, and these are the ones in the book is on page 511. He's got a lot of weird IP addresses, so I picked for example the simplest IP address that he had. The first one is to do a standard access control list, which is to deny. We're going to deny access from the sales over here, the sales network, to down here to the finance network. Okay, and this is going out of Ethernet 1.2. So what I'll do is go into my handy dandy router here. Let me move this over a little bit so you see the topology. We have all these up, I think. So we'll enable and we go to config T. Now what we're going to do is access list, a standard access list, right? Access, and then I can do question marks, see what it will allow me to do, and everything's list, so I'll do the tab and it fixes me up. Question mark, what comes next? And this tells me standard list 1 to 99, extended list 100 to 199. So I'm going to do a standard list. I'm going to do 1. He used 10, but we're going to do 1. Access list 1, and then we'll do the question mark. What am I going to do? It tells me I need a permit or deny statement, or deny or permit or remark statement. Realistically, I should put a remark in here, but I'm not going to. So what we're going to do is deny, right? And we're going to deny what? A, B, C, D, address to match. Any host, a single host. What we're going to do is deny the 172.16.40.0 network. And then I can do the question mark again. There it is. And it says it wants the wildcard bits. We're going to do the whole wildcard bits. We're going to do the whole network. So that's going to be 0.0.0.255. Okay? So what I've said is access list 1, standard access control list, deny 172.16.40.0, the sales network access. Well, just deny it, because this is a standard. All we can do is the source IP address. And then how much of it do we want? We want the whole thing. Now, after that, if I don't do anything here, everybody's going to be denied, including my other network over here, which I forgot what it is, and I covered it up. So we're going to do access ACC tab. Didn't make a typo there. 1, and now we're going to permit. And the permit, we could go in here. We could permit any. We could type up 0.0.0.0 with a 255.255.255.255, and that would permit anybody, or we could just type any. I think it's easier just to type any. What I didn't do, I was doing when I was playing here when I was messing up a while ago, is prove that we can get there. There is a machine over there, and it's the 50 network. We can ping, and what it told us is this should deny everything. So it should deny ping, ICMP also, right? So I can ping 50.2. I've made the access list. Nothing happened, because now I've got to apply it. I have to apply it to, and closest to the destination, that's going to be Ethernet 1/2, and we'll apply it going out.
What do you mean by closest to the destination?
Closest to the destination. This is the network I'm going to. The destination is where I'm going to. The source over here, going through the router, destination where? Destination. Closest to, just like if you're going to Los Angeles, the destination would be Los Angeles. Here the destination is the network 172.16.50. Okay? Does that make sense?
Yeah, I know where I'm going, but what do I deny?
Huh? We denied, we just made the list. We denied this network access to this network. Okay? And since it was a standard list, all we can do is deny the source IP. We denied the whole network when we put that 255 in the wildcard mask.
But what did you do to tell it? What did you do to tell it that it didn't have access to that switch, but it has access to all the others?
Where I apply it. Let's do that because we want to be able to get to here and to here, right?
Right.
Okay, let's see if we can get to here and to here. This is 60.2. I tried to be standard. So let's see if I standardize my standard here. Well, that didn't work very well. Let's see if we can get to 60.2. This thing takes a little while sometimes. Wake up. And it's on the simulator. It's not unusual to get the first one because we got to remember we got to resolve the MAC address. So we got one. So we can get to the 60.2. And this one up here, this server up here, I think is 70.2. So let's see if we can get to it. It's the way we apply it. So we apply it to 70.2. And wake up. Hopefully we can get there too. And we can get there. Okay? Now then, and we'll apply this a couple of different ways. How's that? Just to see what the differences are. So let's go back to our router here. And we need to go to interface Ethernet 1.2, right? I believe. Do show IP interface brief. And Ethernet 1.2 is the 60 network. We want to apply it closest to the destination. Ethernet. That should be one. Oh, yeah, it is 1/1. There's too much stuff here. Ethernet 1/2 is over here. Ethernet 1/1. Good thing I looked at that, or I put it on the wrong interface. So we can go to interface Ethernet 1/1. Right? Now we're on it. So we're going to do IP because we have to specify the protocol. And we're going to do a question mark here. We can do a bunch of IPs, but one of them is access group. And if we tab it, it types access group for us, and the question mark tells us what we're going to do, and we use 1 for the access control list, was that number, right? 1. Or we could use it, if we had another name, we would use the name, and then we have to apply it in or out. So let's do out, which would be the closest to that location, I believe, wouldn't it? So let's see if we can get to, and that one was the 50, right? Destination host unreachable. Can't get there. So let's see if we can get to, Craig asked, can we get to the other places? Can we get to the 70.2? Still works. Can we get to the 60.2? Still works. So it only applies to that network on that interface. 1 access control list per interface, per protocol, per direction.
What about finance talking to the server?
It did. That was the 70 one. To the 70. There it goes, 70.2. And I'm just doing ping because it's the simplest, huh?
I'm talking about the finance group.
Oh, the finance group. Sure. Okay. These guys.
Yeah,
Can they get out? That's a good question, isn't it?
they get a response back.
Let's see. So that was ping 172.16.70.2, right? Sure enough. Works great. The only thing it's doing is deny these guys from the 16.60 network. Hey, I'm on my way. Nothing here to stop me. No bouncer here. Gets here, we get to the bouncer and the access control list, and it says, I want to see your IP information. I'm 172.16.40.2 is what this one is. Oh, you're on the list to arrest. So we're going to deny access.
You applied that out?
Out. We could have applied it in. If we, let's go back to this guy. And let's do, this is what I love about the, let's do no IPX access group out, okay? just where we apply it can make a difference. So let's see if we can ping the 50 now. We should be able to, right? It's working because bouncer went on a break. What if we had applied it to Ethernet 1.0 here, in or out? We'll shut them off the network. Let's do that just for grins and giggles. Interface Ethernet 1/0. So that should be IP access group 1 in, right? Now I can't get anywhere, I'm betting. I shouldn't be able to get anywhere, should I? 50.2, can't get there. 70.2, can't get there. 60.2, can't get there. So
Now, what is the in and out?
whether excuse me, whether it is applied going into the interface or coming out of the interface. And it's based on, yeah, we won't do that. The little stupid man in the router figure. The center of the router. If you put a little guy in here, whether it's going into the interface or out of the interface, is where the in and out.
From coming in, they can't come into the router.
They can't come into the router, exactly. And if you block it from going out, they can't go out this interface.
They can't go out.
Now, the advantage there is if you do it out here, and we were going to do that, the routing doesn't have to take place until it gets down the line and then you block it. So you can, depending on where you do these things, can save some CPU cycles on your routers.
This increases your time.
Which, yeah, if you have to route them, yeah. Let's go back and take this guy off. So we're going to do that. Let's go here and say, and to undo a Cisco generally is just no whatever you just did. So if you recall the command, I just typed no in front of it, takes that group off. What I did up here on this guy, this is my little fake server here. I have an HTTP, so let's see if, and see I've got a little web browser here on my machine. Should be 172.16.70.2. And there's my little Cisco packet tracer web page. Let's say that we wanted to deny this guy here, who is 172.16.40.2, access only to the web browser there. We should be able to do that, right? Source and destination we can use. So let's config T, right? Got to spell it right. I should have done control shift 6 to get out of that. I should have done the no IP domain lookup, and I wouldn't have had that problem, right? So I can do access list, and I can do the question mark. And let's do 100. Access list 100. And then we're going to deny, because we're going to keep that guy from going to the web server, right? To deny. And then we're going to deny TCP because it's a protocol port that we're denying. Okay? That's a whole list of things that you can deny. We'll get into a few, not really deep into that. TCP. And then any source or a single source, I'm going to do host 172.16.40.2. So the source, right? and I used the host instead of using the wildcard mask, I could have used the wildcard mask. I could have put its address and just check everything, because remember the 0.0.0.0, right? Because it checks everything in the wildcard mask. The zeros check it, the 255s, I don't care. And then let's do the question mark again. I want to get you in the habit of looking at these things. The destination address, and I'm going to use a host again here. Hosting, let's do host, and it's going to be 172.16.70, and it is .2. And now I'm going to have something else because I wanted to do the other. So greater than, less than, not equal to. So you can do a range of addresses of the packets and port numbers. Because the one we did 21 and then we 23, we could have done 20 equal or range 21 to 22 on that one. So you can do a range with these things, or you can, if you wanted something, greater than a bunch of port numbers, or less than, if you want to do all of the well-known ports, you could use less than 1024, and it would deny all of that stuff. Or you can do a not equal to, which would deny everything except that one. But we're going to do equal to EQ, and then I'll do the question mark again. And what we're going to do, pop, and all of those things. www is World Wide Web is 80. So what I'm going to do is do equal, and I'm just going to do 80. I could put www in there. Now, if I apply this access control list now, I still have the implied deny any at the end. It's going to deny everybody everything. So what I need to do now is come back here and let the other stuff in, right? Access list 100, permit, and then permit, we'll go to the question mark stuff again. Permit. What we can do here is all of those things. Did I not do my question mark? I'm hitting the down, but anyhow, permit all of those things. The question mark's showing me the whole thing now. I'm just going to type permit IP because I need to specify protocol, and that's what it's telling me there, isn't it? Permit, and it kept telling me what I was supposed to do, and I was ignoring it. Permit IP, and then we'll go to the question mark again. Any, and that says that permit everything else, any IP protocol. I specified TCP when I did the deny, and I wanted to specify a port number, and I specified 80. But here I'm going to do any IP. Any, enter. So now we should be able to go to, because this is an extended list, source is extended as closest to the source. Let's just, and yes, we could do that. We could put it here, but just to prove that it filters and lets the other ones in, I want to do it at closest to the destination. If we're closest to the source, yep, realistically we would do it there. That way we wouldn't have to let it get routed to this interface. Okay? But just to show that it only does that guy, let's go to interface Ethernet, and that's 1/3. 1/3, and this is going to be IP, right? IP access group, and what do we use? 100? And let's use out. Does that work? We could use either one on that one. So we should be able to go to our guy here and use our little browser and go to 172.16.70.2 and see if we can get there. Why can't we still get there? It could, that cache could be it. Did I not apply it right? We did that host right, didn't we? Okay, for the recording back to, I did right here, made an error in the access control list. What we got to do now is the whole thing over, because if I go back and redo it, this is why you want to do it in a, which I didn't do, because only two lines, it's not a big deal. If you get a 30 or 40 or 50 line access list, you're probably going to want to have it in Notepad, so that if you do that, you can do the copy paste thing. So we should be able to do access list. Let's see if the tab will work. 100, right? Deny TCP host 172.16.40.2, 172.16.70.2 equal 80. Is that right? Oh, you know what I didn't do? Did I put host here also? I said host, but I didn't type it, did I? And now we need to do access list 100 permit any, right? Permit IP any. That's why if you use the question marks, they help you do those things. And now it should did not apply. It should still be there. Let's see if it still doesn't work for me. 172.16.70.2, and it's still working. Why is it still working? Did I screw it up again? Mistake, easy to make. I didn't make IP access list 100 go away. I typed deny this one and then the permit, so I just put it down there after the permit any, and now it allows everything in. So to make this thing go away, we need to go to config T, and let's see if that access list, I think that, let's just try this. No access list 100, see if it'll make it go away. Do show let's do the whole thing. Okay, so now I don't have it. So now I should be able to go back and actually make it. Access list 100 deny, right? DENY, and then it was what? TCP or deny? Or in the protocol next, TCP, and then what goes after that? The source host 172.16.40.2 to a host 172.16.70.2. That's where I got in trouble, was I typo the first time, wasn't it? Equal 80. So that one's, does that, I know it's hard to see from there. So then we'll do access list, access ACC list 100 permit IP any. Now let's see if it's still, cause I didn't take the apply off, right? Let's see if it still works. 172.16. I'm gonna type the wrong address here in a minute. Just to 172.16.70.2. This looks better. Now we're not getting there. But I demonstrated a whole bunch of things I said in the lecture that you shouldn't do, right? So let's go to one of these other guys and see if they can get there. So 172.16.70.2, and they can get there. So we have filtered the individual, and that's on the outgoing. Now, the reason I wanted to do that is put that one on the outgoing to show that it didn't do anything to any of the other networks. So that is access lists in all of its ugliness in the configuration, typos and all. But when you do start doing these things, I recommend, even when you're doing labs, use Notepad, type them in it, and then copy and paste it, because you could copy and paste it into the router. Just type it like you're doing one. Actually, let's go just do one. Let's see if we can start Notepad. See if I lied to you. Norpad. Guess I got my fingers on the wrong keys, huh? You don't have the help screen. Actually, you know. Yes, ACESS dash list 2. How's that? Deny. It doesn't matter since we're not going at 162.3.0 255. And then access list 2 permit any, right? Does that look all right? Just to see if this works, see if I'm lying to you again. So we should be able to go in there, copy, and go into our router. We're in config mode, and paste that. And you see it put those commands in there. And if we go in here and do show access lists, we have our access list 1, our access list 100, and our access list 2, the one we just did there. So the copy and paste does work. And when you want it to go away, no access list whatever. No access list 100. Questions? I'm going to stop the recording.